What's going on with y'all? It's your boy Leak, and got a pretty special interview today. Today we have an interview with my good man MJ. MJ, what's going on, man?
Yo, how's it going, brother?
It's going good, man. It's going good. Yeah, you all. I figured I'd get MJ here, to come through my channel and give you all the interview because MJ has a very interesting background, which he will explain himself. But just before we get into the questions, MJ, like, can of course you went to college, but what people also might not know is you have a military background.
Yeah. I went to college, but after a semester or a year being in college, I joined the military. So I just to help me out with the student loans and stuff like that. I did the Army National Guard. Once I got back from that, I went back into school, but it made that smoother for me because it helped pay for my tuitions and stuff like that. So it was definitely a smarter move on my part too.
So do you feel like regardless of what you want to go to school for, whether it's to go into the tech industry, whether it's to go into like it could be culinary school or whatever, like do you just feel like joining the military first is a great option for people to consider?
So yeah, the military, for some financial reasons, sometimes the military will be good. Just because like I said, it helped a lot with paying for my tuition, and then also just coming back that military bearing or like being able to get different things done. Like what you learn from there, it's not only just on the military side, it helps a lot on the civilian side too. Just because you will learn those things, the tactical stuff of it, but just being able to interact with people and that leadership and stuff that you get from there, it helps a lot too, especially, being disciplined and stuff like that in college. The military will help a lot with that too. So, coming back, it put me on the right track with school.
Nice, nice. Okay, okay. And if you don't mind me asking, what branch of the military you serve in?
I served in the Army, so I'm part of the Maryland Army National Guard.
Nice, nice. What's the do you have any like just just real quick, do you have any like cool things that you may have done in the army you got to experience that you could like share?
So I guess I've been in for 6 years now. So like here and there, we with the guard, like we're gonna do a lot of active duty stuff. But during the pandemic, that was one of the best missions I've done so far with them was that we were activated. So pretty much was on full active duty status. So throughout the pandemic, we were in the city of Baltimore. Helping with distributing food, distributing like medical equipment and stuff like that with our trucks, and then also at the end of that, we also got stationed to different testing sites, facilitating the lines or sometimes even as far as like helping with doing the testing. So that was, pretty one of the cool missions that I've done so far.
Nice, nice. Okay, leaving the military background and going into your educational background, higher education. So, what did you go to school for? Even though I already know.
So I went to school for computer science. I graduated from Salisbury University with a computer science degree.
Okay, computer science. Did you know going into school that you wanted to go to school for computer science?
So funny story. So when I my freshman year, when I actually went to Salisbury, I was a chemistry pre-engineering major, and my I guess my suite mate that I had, shout out to Makai, he was a computer science major, and then like after after classes or whatever, we'd chill. Sometimes we'd be doing work together, and honestly, going into school, I didn't really like know much of like what I wanted to do out of high school, but I heard about chemistry, sounded pretty cool, sounded like the money was there, so I went with that. But then when I used to chill with him, when I saw like the different projects and stuff he was, at that time he was doing Java. I saw like he did like some like the graphic designing. I saw like he could write code that would make smiley faces and stuff like that. And I was like, that looked pretty tough if you can like build codes and stuff to do that. So I got interested in that. Once I took off and did the military, when I came back, I had the opportunity to like reassess and say, okay, maybe chemistry ain't working for me, and computer science looked like I'm more interested in that field. So then I switched my major to comp sci.
So, looking back, do you think that Of course, I mean, if you ask me, I think it was worth it. But more so specifically, do you think that computer science ended up being harder than what chemistry was for you, or what do you think?
So looking back, I mean, honestly, because I didn't know much of the chemistry, I wasn't really like fully into it, like giving my full when I was doing the chemistry classes. But in the long run, like ComSci is in, it's doable, but it has its tough part. Same with chemistry, I guess freshman year, most times the classes, I guess they try to ease you into it, so it shouldn't be that much tough. But looking back, I feel like ComSci was probably it was the better choice that I made, and even though it was tough going through it, but it was definitely a better choice for me.
Okay, understood, understood. And so let's now talk about your current role and how basically you are a, as you call it, a ServiceNow developer. So, what exactly is ServiceNow for people that don't know?
So ServiceNow pretty much is a kind of like similar platform like AWS. So it's pretty much a service platform that allows different clients like the DoD or private industries to pretty much use it as a management platform. So if you have like a say you're a private company that has like a IT department, you can pretty much build your infrastructure within ServiceNow and use that to manage everything as far as like the different tasks that will be assigned to your to your IT workers, or even as far as like gathering data for management for uh, maybe hiring or even just seeing the capability or like the work that's being done there. So, and not only on the IT side, ServiceNow pretty much can be used even just as far as for like your HR side too, or different services like that.
Nice. So it sounds like it's like it's got a lot of things encompassed in it. It's like a suite of like different tools and like
Right.
okay. So that's pretty much what it's like.
Right. Yeah. So pretty much it's a service within itself that just has a bunch of different applications or services that you can use it for. So like I said, the best example to give because a lot of people know more about AWS. If you look at the AWS platform where you can do more of like do instances where you can do a website or you can set up your database and all of those different services there. Service not is the same. It's just more. It gives you that management perspective. So if you want to manage as far as like your IT department or like your HR side, or just you know if you have different tasks and stuff, that it's an easier platform to manage and handle everything within one place.
Got you. Okay. So now getting into basically, like the meat and potatoes of like your role, like as a ServiceNow developer on your team. Um, let's talk about, what you thought it would be like before you got into the role versus now that you gotten settled into the role and how, the reality of what it really is like. So the first thing I want to talk about is the work environment. Like even if you do work remote, you know what I'm saying, you still got to deal with people. So is it, what did you think it would be like working with developers, other people, or just like PMs and stuff like that when you were in school versus like, okay, now you're here and this is the reality of it? Or like, are they like cool people or like some of them a-holes? Like, what's the deal with that?
So as far as like the work environment, like coming from a programming background, knowing how like sometimes you'll meet the smart people and stuff like that who like socially awkward and things like that. Coming into that environment to work, sometimes most of the times that's what you'll be expecting, just because you're like there's gonna be like that geeky smart person, or like maybe it might be like the entire team will be that way. Fortunately for me, my situation was that the people that I work with right now, they're cool. Sometimes we talk about sports, talk about different things, and even though like the work still gets done, and there's a lot of smart people, but it shows that not everybody in the coding environment is just like all nerdy. Like we do other stuff other than just the coding part.
Okay, so it definitely, so the people that you work with, like they definitely got like other interests outside of work and personality and stuff like.
Right. Yeah. So yeah, like we talk about basketball a lot. Like with the draft coming up, we got a team where we're doing like a fantasy draft and stuff like that. So it's more. It makes the work environment a lot more easier, knowing that they're not just off the edge of like just working on like with the nerdy side. Which there's nothing wrong with that. I consider myself close to that too. So
Right, understood. Me as well. Me as well. I got like a touch of geek in me, or a touch of nerd, but you know, not too much to the point where it's like, I don't know how to have a conversation with people. Come on,
that's a
but
fact.
but okay. So let's talk about what you thought it would be like being a ServiceNow developer, seeing that title when you were, you know, I guess applying or like vetting which type of jobs you want to get, and like the reality of, you know, the types of hands-on tasks that you're doing on the job.
Right. So I mean, like like I said, in the long run, being the fact that with ComSci we do a lot more coding and stuff like that. You know, coming in the developer environment, I was thinking more it would be more like tasks I'll be assigned with coding. You know, starting to understand the ServiceNow environment more. There are places where you do different coding and stuff like that, but it seems more like their platform is built on being able to just a lot of different configurations. So the expectation was more like, okay, you know, since I'll be a developer, I'll probably be doing a lot more back end coding. But it seems like I do write codes here and there, but it seemed more of like it's just being able to configure stuff. So in that way, like it's a thing where you know, even though you would need to take some time to learn, you know, coming in the field, you would need to learn as the entire ServiceNow environment, but you will need to be more of like a strong coder to be a developer for ServiceNow.
So for someone that was looking to get into service now, like say someone that like they got their computer science degree and they feel like they just got out of the pits of hell, right? Like they feel like they just made it out and they're just like, you know what? I don't want to touch any more code. I don't really want to be coding like that, but I still want to like have a tech job and I still want to be able to do tech related things like configurations like you were talking about. Like, do you think that this position would be more so for someone like that?
Absolutely, yeah. So I guess like kind of like for me, if I was to give a little background was so once I graduated, it's the heat of the pandemic, kind of like a little bit split off from the developer role. So my first two jobs I had was more of like on the IT side. So just you know just basic configuration, setting up servers and doing like basic help desk stuff. Once I got back on the developer side, trying to look for jobs, you know, did hardcore coding and got prepared for that. But then when I looked into ServiceNow and started to to see, okay, if I was to get in this environment, what do I need to know? ServiceNow as a whole, they give you a like whole learning platform where you know once you go to their site, they have a now learning platform where like they pretty much they have a course where you can learn everything as far as like how the configuration works. With ServiceNow, you can get like a private developer instance, and you do not only just learning from the books, you do hands-on, so you can pretty much create your own environment that you can just even use on your resume as like experience work because you will learn by the time you're done with their course, you will learn everything that you know you need to do as if you're on the job. So if you're coming in, you know, with your degree and you feel like, oh, you know, you don't want to be doing that much hard coding but configuration stuff, there are resources out there as far as like with the ServiceNow platform that can pretty much prepare you fully for that.
Nice, nice. Okay, so in terms of how much money you thought you'd be making at like service as a ServiceNow developer, did you is it like, you know, is it more than what you were expecting? Is it less, or like what's the ballpark on like how much you thought you would be making versus how much you're actually making?
So I'll say I'll say it's about what I expected. As far as like coming in to be making. So um just knowing that I was changing role and this would be more of like I guess like the entry level. My expectation honestly would say maybe it might have been a little lower than what I ended up with, but you know once I got in and like started talking to other people and figured out okay you know maybe I probably was lowballing myself a little bit coming in, so yeah it was around that expectation.
Yeah, and we all do that. I never forget when I first got up out of school. I'm gonna just say this for people watching. I was talking on the phone with like some company that like they was doing some kind of contracting for NASA, and basically, you know, she asked me, she was like, "So how much, you know, how much are you looking to make?" I was like, $45,000. And then see how you laughing, and then like the lady, she was like, "Oh, sweetie, you so," she was like, I'm trying to tell you, if you, fam, it's just put it to you this way. That was so long ago, and it's, you know, that is nowhere near the case now. But anyway, I just thought I'd throw that in there because when you coming out of school, a lot of times like you do lowball yourself. Like sometimes we do lowball ourselves and we don't think we're really worth more than we actually are. But yeah, no, we are, especially in our field of work, man.
Yeah, no, that's definitely true. Like it's been lots of cases where even sometimes looking at when you start to look at the job, if you see these pays, don't look at it and be like, oh no, I don't think I can be doing that yet because like when it comes to the expectations of the work too with what sometimes with these different roles, like they make those so they do those sometimes to just almost as if we now the ones who don't know anything, but always you never know, like sometimes they end up with weeding out who don't know anything but end up with the people who really doesn't know what they're doing. So if you see these different pays, don't ever lowball yourself. I had to learn that the hard way throughout my career now. So
Facts, facts. So now let's get into basically, just some general questions, just so that people can know. So in terms of your role being a ServiceNow developer now, what's something that you really like about the job, and what's something you really don't like about the job?
um as a developer now, I guess just what I'll say I like right now is that like I'm learning a lot more about the platform. Like just because before it was just before I got on this job, I didn't even though I had gotten the cert, I didn't know much of like how the different configuration of things that you can do with it. So I've been to like a couple of their um what's called workshop that they have. So I've learned a lot more that that I can take away from this now. It's like okay, I'm really getting into like the development part of service now. What I won't I don't think I have anything right now that I'll say I don't like much about the job. I feel like everything is going smooth. Maybe I'm still on that early stage, so maybe that's why it's like, oh, I haven't really hit that phase where it's like, okay, something's going on that I don't like yet.
That's ain't nothing wrong with that. As long as it's smooth sailing, just keep sailing smooth. That is nothing wrong. Is nothing wrong with that. Okay, so a lot of people that watch my channel, they don't have tech degrees like us. They didn't go to school for computer science. They may have went to school for something like business, or they may have went to school for something like communications. But I do have a lot of people that hit me up like, "Yo, Leak, like, how could I get into the industry? How could I do what you do?" And of course, I mean, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I just be telling them to go back to school or like get a certification or something like that. But do you have any type of advice that you can offer to people that they don't have a technical background, they don't have a technical degree, but they want to break into the tech industry? Like, do you have any advice that you can give them?
Yeah. So first thing I'll say is if you have to really make that decision with yourself that you want to make that switch, especially if you're not within a tech environment or like you don't have that tech background. Once you make that decision, the different routes, like you're saying, going back to school, that route is always the best because, even though schools these days, school might not teach you everything that you'll be doing a job, but just that discipline that you have as far as like, working with a team or like, working, learning that base background of like how to get stuff done. Um, that could be one way. Another way would be like as far as with the certification, there's a lot of different classes out there that can prepare you for these jobs these days. That you could do. Sometimes you don't even have to like pay for any of these classes. Like you got AIs out there that can pretty much teach you everything now. You have a lot of free courses, YouTube. Try to if you really want to make that switch, you have to put in that dedication. You got to put in the work as far as like looking at these different platforms, putting a whole plan down. Okay, if you look at the IT, just that as a whole is a huge field. So you gotta like if there's something you have to talk to more people and make the research, try to narrow down where you want to go because sometimes if you jump into IT field and you start to say, oh, maybe I want to do a little bit of coding, and then you start doing coding, and say maybe I like C++ plus plus or this language, you end up just being all over the place and you never really figure out how to really get in. So I would say make a plan, stick to that plan on like specifically what you want to do, and make that your drive. Like let that push you. Put times where you make goals. Okay, maybe I'm gonna study this time and make sure I get this project done. I'm gonna get so and so search so that way that drive will be what will really get you going.
That's real talk, man. Hey, you heard it from this other guy. You guys heard that beep in the background. My dog just turned on my PS5, so that's what that was. But hey MJ, I wanted to thank you for the interview, man. This was solid. This was dope. I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview as well as give game to my subscribers, and hopefully, y'all watching this video, y'all can make an informed decision on what path you want to take. If you want to step into this tech world, or if you want to go a different path. So but what do you do with leak episode? Of course, I will have different people on here from different backgrounds. So stay tuned for more. And as always, take it easy, y'all. Appreciate you, MJ.
All right, thank you, bro. Yeah.